Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for finding time to join today's webinar. We will talk about starting the business in the UK and top tips and things to consider. And we will cover following topics. That's our agenda for today. I don't want to spend too much time just going and summarizing. Let's just jump into the first one. So naming your baby, that's an important one. If you have a business idea and if you want to start a business, people are spending a lot of time about how should I call my company? What should be the name of the business? My personal recommendation would be don't spend too much time about it. Maybe brainstorm it with the friends, and you can tell them what is an idea, what do you want to do, and then maybe within 1 hour you will come up with a good ideas. And once you have idea, just consider next 3 points. In the company's house, check the availability, whether that name is available or not. Maybe someone already took that name. And after the webinar, I'll send you the list of links, and I'll send you a link as well to the tool the company's house provides. You can just type the name that you think you want to use and see whether that's available or not. The second one, trademark. Even if the company name is available in company's house, this may be taken by someone. Maybe someone has trademarked that. Trademark is a separate topic with just a few things to mention. Even if it has been trademarked, don't panic. Maybe that has been trademarked somewhere else and not in the UK. Even if it is been trademarked in the UK, that may still be okay. If they've trademarked something, let's talk about Apple. Apple probably will be trademarked by the class, in the specific class, for the computers, for the software, but you may still call Apple. You can still come up with the idea, I don't know what idea, and call it Apple, and just put it to the separate, completely different class. So that may be okay. Just double check on the trademark and maybe do a bit of research. Domain, the good one as well. Let's say you've got a company name, your company's house available, trademark is available. Domain is very important as well. You will find that all these cool names, the short names, will be taken where you have the apple.com or something similar. If .com has been taken, maybe that doesn't mean that you cannot go for this option. Check the co.uk one, if that's business specifically about the UK. If it's a startup, there are many startups would have .io domain. Another one that is used widely these days will be AI. .ai, obviously that's if it is something, if there is an element of AI within that. And obviously if it's country specific, as I mentioned, the co.uk or just .uk, you can use .uk as well. In the UK, if it's in different countries, you will have specific domains for those countries as well. Once you've got the name, then you will have a choice. What about business structure? There are many different ones. The most popular ones to choose in the UK will be whether to go for sole trader or to run your company as limited company. Let's start with the sole trader. That's the simplest form. It's very easy to register as self-employed, being a sole trader. You will find that these terms will be used in the web quite a lot. So if you're self-employed, that's most of the time that means you're a sole trader, not necessarily, but most of the time. You can just quickly register, and when it comes, you have to do one tax return per annum, and that's called self-assessment tax return, and that's it. Do you need an accountant? That's recommended to use an accountant for that, because there may be things that you don't know, but in theory, you can spend some time research about what kind of business expense you can use, etc., and you can do it yourself. And even if you use the accountant, the second point, it is relatively cheap to do that. The second one, limited company. Why people go for limited company if we have sole trader option that is very straightforward and it's very cheap to maintain. The first is limited liability, and as you can see from the name, it's called limited company, and there's a reason behind. If, let's say, you run the business and something happens, um, your customer sues you, and yes, you have an insurance, but that insurance doesn't cover that specific case, and you are in a problem, and you need to pay a lot of money to that customer. If, say, I don't know, you have £1,000 in your business bank account, and you are sued for £100,000, then what will happen if you are sole trader? You are personally liable for that, and that customer or the bank, they can go after your personal assets. So you may end up selling your house, selling your car, etc., so that you can pay that off. When you have limited company, so your liabilities are limited with the assets that your company has. If that 100,000 is only asset you have in the company, you're paying that one, and in a way, that's it. So you can strike the company off, or you can, in that case, it will be liquidation. So you can liquidate the company, and not very nice thing to do, but it's life, and things happen. So that's one of the major reasons why businesses go limited company. That's not the only one. Another one, the brands. If you have limited company, it will, first of all, it is considered a bit more prestigious. Not that I agree with that, but there are lots of wonderful businesses that are run by just having sole trader structure. However, it is mainly perceived to be more serious if you have a limited company. So that's number one. And also, if you've got a company that has been registered, let's say in Companies House from 2020, 10 years in down the line, someone who is looking at your company can check in the Companies House and can see, wow, you've been running the business since 2020, and that also contribute to your history. And you can even, when you want to exit or sell the business, if that's an option, that will also help. And another one, and probably the most popular reason why people are going for a limited company, is tax efficiency. Generally speaking, if you have a limited company, if we're talking about, let's say, 30,000 net income or more, then it will be more tax efficient to go limited company. And then, yeah, limited company sounds amazing. Then why not to go for limited company option? Costs that will be associated with that will be much higher. So in terms of registering the company, statutory fees, it doesn't cost a lot. It's only £13 per annum you're paying for confirmation statement. However, the accounting fees will be much higher if you have a limited company. There are lots of returns to do on that. We're not going to cover that here, but just watch out, that will cost more. So whatever decision you're making, that's try to find a balance. And in terms of costs, that can be, it depends totally of accounting services you need. Are you VAT registered? Do you have people in the payroll? That can start anywhere from, let's say, £1,000 per annum to 10,000 per annum, or in some cases, if the business is big, you have lots of employees, then that can go much higher as well. So registering with government. So we have mainly HMRC and Companies House if we have a limited company, but let's start with the sole trader, the easier option. With sole trader, you don't need to register with Companies House, you just need to register with HMRC, and that's pretty straightforward. You can just Google register as sole trader, and information.gov.uk will be pretty simple to follow, and you can do it. You can do it like straight away, and you can be registered from today. However, you will not know your UTR for a few days. You will get that by post the HMRC. What is UTR? Is unique tax preference, something that will identify you as a taxpayer. Limited company, the main one will be registration with the Companies House, and I will put here 3 options how you can go about that. You can just do it straight in the Companies House website. It is a little bit long-winded, but that's an option, probably the cheapest one. You'll only need to pay statutory fees. Incorporation agents is the second option. Again, you can, if you Google set up the company, you will have these incorporation agents, and they will have online. You can just put information; they will guide you through. Pretty same option as doing it directly with company's house, but a bit more smooth, and it's a bit easier. Therefore, it will cost slightly more, but again, not much. We're talking probably 50 to 100 pounds. However, the downside with that is you're not getting advice. If you're not sure about something, then you're risking that you may do something wrong. Therefore, you have an option number three. You're going to accountant who can do that for you, where you can discuss things and make sure you have everything right. In case if you do want to do it yourself, just a few tips. Um, every company should have one director, one shareholder, and one person with significant control. If it's your business, you are the only one who is running that. All these three people will be yourself. So you can be only director, only shareholder, and only person with significant control. For small businesses, person with significant control, and you will see that in the web, PSC with the abbreviation, is same thing really as shareholder. It has been designed, it's a relatively new thing, it's been introduced a few years ago. It's for those companies that would say register offshore somewhere in BVI and would put ultimate beneficial owner in the BVI. So if you're Googling that person, if you're going to company's house, there was no way to find out what person is standing behind this company. Whereas with the person with significant control, now you can find out. So, and another thing, watch out. So you will see SIC code. Every business has to have at least one SIC code, and that identifies what are you doing. So for us, for example, the accounting firm, we will have SIC code as audit and accounting. So if you just Google SIC code, and I'll send you a link as well, you can just see the list of SIC codes. Every business can have up to 4 SIC codes, so you can choose 1, 2, 3, or 4, and you can make changes later as well. Another one will be registering with HMRC for taxes. Which taxes again depends on your business, and we can have a separate chat on that. And I'll also send you a link where I'm covering all the different taxations with HMRC. That can be valuable, where you can understand what is corporation tax, what is VAT, what is a PAYE, and self-assessment. Do you need license or insurance? With the license, it depends on the, some American spelling error here. With the license, it depends what business do you run. If you, I think the best way to go about it will be, I'll send you the link again. There is a great tool provided by Gov.uk. It's called License Finder, and you can just put your business type and which part of UK you're running it from, whether it's England, Wales, Scotland, or Northern Ireland, and it will give you potential licenses you may need. If it's something to do with the food, for example, you'll need food license. If you're providing alcohol, then you will need personal license to sell alcohol, etc. The public liability insurance is probably the most common one. So let's say you are going to store, to shop, and something happens in that shop, there is an accident, then you will sue that retailer. And if that retailer has got public liability insurance, then they are covered by that, and insurance providers will pay you. If they don't, they will be in problem. So public liability insurance is a very important one. Especially if you have premises where customers or even non-customers, someone walks in, and make sure you have that. If you are more service provider, and let's say you're working from home or office, and you don't see many people, then professional indemnity insurance would be the one that you need. Um, where that is used, if you if you've done some advisory work, let's say the accountants, we've done some work for you, and we've advised you that this is a better option for you to go, and then you identify a later stage, well, that was wrong advice, and you decide to sue us. So at that time, we actually have professional indemnity insurance, as long as it is the type of um, whatever we've done wrong, as long as that is covered with the professional indemnity insurance, then again we'll be fine then, and you will be fine as well. So with the employer's liability insurance, that you do need to have that if you have an employee. Obviously, you can be employee of your company if you are the only person. That's where it's not applicable, so you don't have to worry about that. But if you're hiring someone who is not director in the company, make sure you do have that insurance. There are many other types of insurance. Please check online, or again, we can have a chat separately discussing your type of the business and what other one. But these are the most common ones. Bank account. Every business has to have a bank account, right? If you're going to make some money or even spend some money. The myth is that you do have to have a business bank account. You don't have to. So there is no legislation doesn't say that you have to. It is obviously recommended because if you have the business bank account, then you will have things going on separately. And also, let's say someone is paying you your invoice, and if it's on a personal bank account, and you have the account holder as your name rather than company name, that doesn't look very professional. Therefore, it is recommended to have one. When you choose bank account, so obviously these days you have two options. That can be online bank. You have Revolut, you have Starling, you have Tide Bank these days. They are pretty good. Or you have traditional banks. You have Lloyds, HSBC, RBS, Metro Bank, and many others. Which one to go? I wouldn't. I wouldn't recommend one because it just totally depends. And to be honest, you hear so many stories. Someone is not happy with one bank, and someone else to say they are the best ones. It's a personal experience, and again, it's there are a few things to consider. Obviously, the fees would be the major one. Just check their fees. Usually, they will offer 12 months or 18 months free internet banking where you don't have to pay anything. Some of them will not have that, and the fees will be monthly fees. That can be around from 5 to 10 to 15 pound a month. We're not talking about lots of money. And also, they may have some fees on transactions. If you're sending money, if you're receiving money, most of the time you will have fees on international transactions, and that will be higher than a local UK transactions. Few more tips. Data protection is important one. Most of the businesses are processing personal information. If you store information online, if you have a database where you have some information of your customers, if you have some documents of your clients at your premises, whatever, there are many scenarios, and that means if you are processing any personal information of your clients or anyone, then you have to, anyone that relates to your business, you have to register for data protection with ICO, Information Commissioner Officer. I'll send you a link where you can assess whether you need that or not. And if you do, there is a small fee to pay. It's £40 or £60 depending on the business. It can be quite high, but that's not relevant for most of the small businesses. And that's an annual fee. Tax incentives, startups. There different tax incentives for startups, and not just startup. Again, in small businesses, most of the small businesses can get these tax incentives. Again, there is a separate webinar I recorded. I'll send you that in the link as well. Just watch out the email that I will send after the webinar. And so we're covering SIS, EIS, R&D tax credits, and whether you may be better off registering for VAT and getting VAT back, and that's all in that webinar. Don't miss that. The business plan. That's an interesting one. If you type in the Google steps to follow when you start the business, most of the advice will say make sure you have your business plan. What I think and what I've seen in my personal practice is business plan obviously is cool to have, but many businesses spending too much time on thinking and creating that business plan, and sometimes they get a bit getting too detailed, and then the business just stays there, it's not moving anywhere. Maybe do some draft version, very light version, and then just move on and keep updating that. Once you start running the business, you will have much more understanding of the real issues with the business and what your customers want. And I think business plan is something that it's something that needs to be updated all the time, really. So yeah, don't spend too much time business plan at the beginning. That's probably a small tip from me. A couple of books I would recommend to read if you haven't. They are not here, but that's fine. I thought we'll have some images. The first one will be, it's called The Mums Test. I'll send you a link as well. That's really good one when you research the business and getting the idea of, let's say you have an idea, that sounds great, right? Is it really a good idea or not? You don't know, and actually you shouldn't be sure that it's a great idea. If I come up with a great idea, that will be a great idea if you go talk to other people and you validate that idea. And if you go to someone and just say, hey, this is an idea I have, what do you think? And if they say, yeah, probably they will say that that's a good idea. Most of the people will do that because they have a sympathy to you. And so that book gives you really good tips on how to structure questions, how to talk to your potential customers without just being very direct and just, so the way you're structuring questions then naturally leads you to right answers that you need. Again, I haven't written that book, so I would struggle to explain, but definitely the one to watch out to validate your idea, and also it's a really good one for you when you review your business. Another one that really helped me is called eMyth Enterprise. Again, I'll send you a link to that one as well. That is about procedures. I know procedures sound boring and it's not interesting at all, but the author actually put it in a very interesting way. I guess as interesting as it can go. So check it out. I can't stress enough how important it is to have right procedures from the very beginning. And yeah, if you do that right, then that's and then if your business grows, then it will be very smooth transition. Otherwise, what many small businesses find once their business grows, it's all about you, and then you don't have time to do. You may not even find time to hire someone to help you. You may not find time to train someone. So that's brilliant book. Definitely check it out. Few words about us. We are Q Accountants. We are based in London and we have a branch in Sheffield. We work with the startups and small businesses. And our USP is we provide all-inclusive service where you have bookkeeping, tax returns, tax advice, which is a very important one. And you've got everything included in your package and you pay only certain specific fixed fee every month. And if you've got any questions, whether over the phone, over WhatsApp, or If you want to meet us in person or via Zoom, there is no additional fees on top. So it's all inclusive. And so again, I don't want to talk too much about us, but because I mentioned we work with the startups, we also help them with few things, how to get the R&D tax credit, how to get the SCIS, EIS schemes right. Um, and also, once the business grows, we are offering advisory service. We're helping them with the cash forecasting, with the budgeting, and business plan. If you need any help with the business plan, that's something we can definitely help as well. Okay, cool. Then that's it from me. All right, thanks everyone, and have a lovely day ahead. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.